Headers and footers are that area at the top and bottom of each page in a document. It provides important background information. These include such things as page numbers, dates, book and chapter titles, and perhaps even the author's name. All of these can improve the usability of the document. In Microsoft Word 2010, there are 5 options when it comes to headers and/or footers. We can insert the same header footer on each page. We can make the first page header or footer different from the rest of the pages. We can use no header or footer on the first page. We can make the header or footer different from odd and even pages. And lastly, we can make the header or footer different for each section or chapter of our document. Before we get started on building our header footer, it's important to note that if we enter the text and graphic in the default header or footer, it is automatically left aligned. You might want to center an item or include multiple items, like a left aligned date and a right aligned page number. Since it's automatically left aligned, to center an item across the header footer, you press Tab once, and to align an item along the right margin, press Tab twice. Microsoft Word 2010 also has about 24 or so built-in styles of header-footer pairs. Let's start with one of the built-in headers, then use the matching footer. On the Insert tab, in the header-footer group, I'm going to click on Header. I'm going to select maybe, let's see, there's all different types. Well, I'm going to click on Alphabet. As you see, Alphabet already gives us an information item in our header, the title of the document. You can see a box appear around the label of Title. This signifies that this is a document property. And if we want to use this document property of title, again, perhaps maybe on a cover page, it will automatically be populated with the title of the document we type in here. Let's add the title of our document, Word 2010 Formatting Documents. Okay, let's go off on a secant line of thought for a moment. I said something about properties of the document, so let me show you what properties are. If you click on your File tab and you go to Info, which is the default, right here are the properties of the document. It includes the size, page, words, how many total editing times, so on and so forth. We can fill in any of this information here in the Backstage view, or we can open up the document panel and enter the information there. It's right under. Okay, as you see, the author is Lynn. I'm just going to go ahead and say Lynnette Mann. The title is there because we typed it into our document property box. We can also put in a subject, some keywords in the event that we had to search for something, category, status, and some comments. There's also some advanced. So there's a lot of general properties and some other things here that you can fill out if you wanted. Now, why would we do that? Well, we can utilize these properties in our header and footer, in the document body, in the cover page, so on and so forth. And by utilizing these document properties, if by chance any of these properties needed to be changed, we only would need to change it in this one location in the document properties. And then Word would update all the locations where we use that information. It would update it automatically. I'm going to go ahead and close out the Document Properties panel. Now that the header has information, we want to go to the footer. There are several ways to get to the footer if we're already inside the header. One, we could click on Go to Footer, which will automatically go to our footer and use the same formatting style that we have in the header. Or we can go to Footer and select a different style than what we're using. And then lastly, we can also go to Insert and go to Footer here. So since I'm going to go ahead and use the same one, I'm just going to click on Header Footer and go to Header Footer. Now I popped out of the header originally and went over to the document panel. So I did have to select the footer of alphabet, but if you didn't do that and you're still in your header and you just jump down to your footer, it does automatically put it in there. As you see, the alphabet style of footer has some information on it too. One is the page number, which is great because I do want page numbers. And secondly, I can type any text here that I want. Let's say I want the name of my document. I don't want to type the name of my document because it might change. So what I want to do is in the Header Footer Tools under Design, there's something called Quick Parts. Now here's another place that we can insert any of our document properties from an abstract, author, category, so on and so forth down to title. But the file name is an actual field, and there are hundreds of fields that we can put in here that Word 2010 will automatically update. So I'm going to scroll down until I see file name, and we have some options. I can say uppercase, lowercase, first capital title. I'm just going to say no regular formatting, and then if I wanted to add the whole entire path to the file name, this is great if you print out your document but you want to know where the original file is stored. You can add the path to the file name. So I'm going to go ahead and not do that this time. I just want the file name. I'm going to say OK. So my document is document 1, but here let me save it as a different name. And now that I've renamed my document, I go back down here and I'm going to update my field. And now it's the name of my document. I do have to update the field, but that was real easy versus having to type it in and know what the title of my document is. Okay, by default, Word 2010 puts the header footer on every page. If you use the header, it's going to be on every page of the document. Let me click out of there so you can see. And if you use the footer, it's going to be on every page of the document. Well, that's great, but as you see, I really don't need it on this first page. At least the header I don't need. Perhaps I still want to keep the footer. So what I can do is I can go back inside my header and I want it different on first page. So I'm just going to toggle different on first page, and you see first page header, first page footer. I still want the same first page footer, so I am going to go ahead and click on alphabets. And again, because it's different, it's not connected with the one below, I am going to have to put in my link again. But that's a few clicks. Field, scroll down to field, file name. I'm going to say OK. So now all my footers are the same, but my first page does not have a header. I could type in here Buffalo, and now my header is completely different on the first page than on any of the other page, but I don't want my header to be on my first page, so I'm going to leave it blank. Okay, that was the second way. The third was I could have a different header footer on odd pages versus even pages. This is great because perhaps I want the name of my document on the odd pages, but I want the name of the author on the even pages. So I'm going to go back into my header footer, and I am going to go down to my header footer on my second page. I'm going to say different odd and even pages. Okay. Here's my first page header. That's still marked as first page header. First page footer, that's completely different. Now I have an even page header. For my even page headers, I want my header to again have the alphabet style, but instead of the title, I'm going to select, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to put the quick parts of document properties. I'm going to say author. Okay, I'm going to click out of that. Now on my second page, I have my author name, and on my odd page, I have the title of my document. Okay. And I do need to fix my footers because, again, the footers go along with even pages versus odd pages. And if I wanted, I could just put the regular alphabet. And again, since it's really quick and simple, I can use the field of file name. Okay. Alrighty. Now that's great, but what if I actually had chapters in my document and I wanted each of my document chapters to have a different header? So I'm going to remove different odd even pages because I don't want that anymore. So now I have the same on every page except the first one, remember. So the next way is, if I want to divide up my document into chapters or sections, I do need to place section breaks in my document so Word knows, hey, this is a new section. Hey, this is a new section. So I'm going to put in some section breaks in my document. So let's see. It kind of makes sense to have a section break right here. So I'm going to say page layout breaks section. Okay. If I want this down on the next page, I can also insert a next page break. But the secret, the magic, is the section break. So I can push that down. And let's go down to the next section, which, let's put one maybe right. That looks like it would be a good place for a section. And I'm going to put page layout break, section break, and I also want this on another page, so I'm going to go ahead and say next page break. So now I have my sections. And I'm going to go back into my header right where it changes. So here's my page 2, and here's my section break, and let me turn on my all characters so you can see there is definitely a section break there. I'm going to go into my headers, and it says first page header section 3. I can put as same as previous. So let's say right here I want to put in a different section header. But first I need to unlink it with the previous section. So right now it says same as previous. I want to break that link. Once I break that link, I can put any header in here I want, and so I'm just going to put in something else. So you can see that here's this on page 2, which is section 1. There's the header for section 1. Here's section 2 header, or section 3 header, because I have a section break in there somewhere. And then again, same as previous, I want to break that link. So I can put something else in here, maybe a different style. This is just how you would do for different sections. So for every section you would have to break the section from the previous, break that link, and then you could put in any header that you want, either the chapter number or whatever you would like in there. Let's review. Headers and footers are the areas on the top and bottom of the page that contain document information, like page numbers, company logos, and so on. We inserted a header footer. We utilized the quick parts and some original text. We used the sections in the document to allow for different headers for each section of the document. We also changed the header of the first page.